These are the men who, despite people like Oki and Renpa, and Qin's 6 great generals and Xiao's 3 great heavens being at the peak of their fame, still managed to steal the attention of every single person in China. In the words of the late great General Rokyomi, during my youth, everybody made a fuss about these 2 geniuses showing up in Han. But why is it that from the very beginning of the story, these 2 were never mentioned or talked about? It took until now to uncover generals as legendary as those of past who hailed from Qin, Shao, and Wei. This is the story of 2 geniuses who possess such an insane level of prowess that despite hailing from the weakest kingdom in all of China, were able to best the great General Renpa of the 3 great heavens of Shao. During these days, there existed many military tandems created with the sole purpose of waging war against each other. The best of the best in all of China, the 6 great generals of Qin, the 7 fire dragons of Wei, and as we mentioned previously, the 3 great heavens of Shao. And despite these monsters, 2 names stood out, taking every single eyeball away from these tandems: Rakuakan and Hakuoukoku. These 2 were dubbed the malefic stars of Wei and Shao. Imagine that. Unlike everyone else with titles that represent their kingdom, these 2 were such menaces to other kingdoms that their titles did not mention their kingdom of Han, but rather acted as a reminder of their overwhelming might against 2 entire kingdoms, Wei and Shao. So let's get into the story of these malefic stars, the stars with the most wasted potential ever in kingdom. Before diving into China's first glimpse of the miracle workers Rakuakan and Hakuoukoku, it's important to first look back at their introduction into the story. Hakuoukoku, his introduction was recent, so there's nothing. But as for Rakuakan, his first appearance said more than enough. On screen for the first time, Rakuakan is faced with the sudden revival of Qin's 6 great system, but there is nothing but proactivity and composure on display. The first thing that comes out of his mouth is suggesting an alliance with Chu, as to be prepared for the worst case scenario. Funnily enough, that worst case scenario is happening right now, and it is unknown whether Chu agreed to an alliance, so that's something to be wary of as to how it could affect the current war with Qin. Moreover, it's easy to assume that Han's military, who was known to be the weakest, would no longer have any great generals, right? Considering the one they sent to the coalition perished. The logic here is that Chu sent a great general. Yan did, Wei did, Shao did, so it would make sense for Han to also. Since their military sucks, it might have been their only great general. Well, that's where we got bamboozled. We saw Rakuakan again during the escort mission to Shinte. He was too intriguing. I doubt anyone remembered his little cameo, so all of us must be thinking, who is this man that is so close to the Han princess? This is when we find out that he is the first general of Han, not Seikai. Interesting. Rakuakan even rides alongside Toh without any signs of nerves. Now though, it is obvious why he wasn't sent to the coalition. If he died, Han would have no chance at life. With all this being said, here's why Rakuakan is too valuable. It all began more than 20 years ago. The Wei, Shao, and Han we know today used to make up the state of Jin. That is, until their eventual separation known as the Partition of Jin. This was the reason why they were often referred to as the 3 Jins. During this time, many ferocious battles took place between them. The assumption was that Han, the weakest of the 3, would be quickly conquered. This was not the case. The first of these invasions on Han was one led by a Wei fire dragon, Gokei. Most in China would assume that this is more than enough to take out such a small kingdom. Wrong. A counterattack was launched and Gokei was driven back. This is the same man, by the way, that only met death by unluckily encountering the pinnacle of his opposite philosophy, Jukyo, the epitome of the instinctual general. Moving on, another invasion occurred led by a Shao Great Heaven Renpa. This time, not only was Renpa driven back, but it is said that Han was able to inflict notable damage on the Shao army. It was more than a simple counterattack. The Shao army was said to be beaten back. It should go without saying, but Renpa is the same man that consistently survived and won bouts against the 6 great generals of Qin. This isn't even the craziest part. During this time, it is implied that Han was being carried by 2 young lions on the rise. These 2 had only just become 1,000-man commanders, and these victories would not have been possible without them, leading every single person witnessing to think these feats to be almost inconceivable, which granted, they were 1,000-man commanders. There's no better word to describe such legendary outcomes. But why were Rakuakan and Hakuoukoku hailed as so great? It had to be more than simply making a clutch play or two, like Shin, Ohon, and Moten in the early days. happened, and that it was. The Rakuakan and Hakuoukoku units were not left wanting when it came to collecting officer heads. This naturally stirred the wrath of all those in Wei and SHOU. To understand this means that these two were supposedly able to defeat multiple Rinkos, Mengokus, Hukis, and clearly better, since Renpa and Gokei are on that list. Name it. These two performed at a level that surely surpassed that of a general, while being 1,000-man commanders. An invasion here, an invasion there. Did not matter how many occurred. Each and every single one of SHOU and Wei's attempts ended in utter defeat. It should have been easy to conquer Han. These guys are the smallest kingdom, but out of nowhere, Han birthed two geniuses, making it impossible for such a feat. It was because of these two appearing out of nowhere like a comet, like a shooting star blessing Han with their wish of survival, that two entire kingdoms in Wei and SHOU feared this tiny kingdom. It was because these two men who, in what felt like a flash, became Han's generals and beset upon these kingdoms like a calamity, that the title of malefic stars were bestowed upon them. What a badass origin story. This is what it means to be in their head. As a result, it is said there were no generals whose names resounded as strongly across the entirety of China than Rakuakan and Hakuoukoku. I know, we all love Oki. We all know that this man was the epitome of what it meant to be a great general of the heavens. So it says a lot when even Oki was looking forward to facing them on the battlefield. To have the respect, or at the very least the interest of a great general of the heavens, warrants recognition. Sadly, this never came to pass because of Han's lack of military strength to launch large-scale invasions. Now, this is the specific reason why these two have the most wasted potential in Kingdom. For more than 20 years, flashing forward to the present day, Han did not fight in any widely renowned battles. In other words, Rakuakan and Hakuoukoku became washed. No notable battles means no chance to achieve further feats. For all we know, they became rusty and it might have been a lucky run. A Mickey Mouse ring, if you will. Almost like Oki resting his wings after the death of King SHOU, except a little more pathetic, since Han essentially lacked the ability to get it up, although other kingdoms did try to recruit them, which does say a lot about how legit their prowess was, or perhaps is, because for the first time since those days, Han is encountering the most famous battle happening right now. Jin's battle against Han is one for unifying all of China. There is no wider, more renowned battle than this to solidify their clout among the legendary military tandems. This is the rise, fall, and rise again of Rakuakan and Hakuoukoku, the two great generals known as the malefic stars of Wei and SHOU. Kidding. Anyway, if you made it to the end, thank you for tuning in. Let me know if you think these guys actually deserve to be up there with Jin's 6 great generals and all the others.